Menopause doesn't have to mean the end of satisfying intimacy. In fact, for many women, it can mark the beginning of the most fulfilling chapter of their intimate lives. That might sound impossible if you're currently dealing with dryness, discomfort, or diminished desire. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. Scientific research has identified a simple daily practice that makes women 3 times more likely to report deeply satisfying intimacy after menopause. It's not about hormone therapy, it's not about expensive products, and it's definitely not about lowering your expectations. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal exactly what this practice is, how it works, and why it's so effective specifically for postmenopausal women. Before we dive in, let me share something personal. When I first started researching this topic, I was shocked by how little, honest, practical information was available. It seemed like the medical community had 2 approaches: either prescribe hormones, or essentially tell women to accept that their intimate lives were over. Neither of those felt right to me. What I discovered through extensive research and conversations with hundreds of postmenopausal women was eye-opening. The women who reported the most satisfying intimate relationships weren't necessarily the ones on hormone therapy. They weren't using the most expensive products, and they certainly weren't settling for less. Instead, they had discovered something that research now confirms: a simple daily practice that maintains vaginal tissue health, enhances sensitivity, and actually leverages the hormonal changes of menopause to create deeper, more satisfying experiences. In this video, I'll share the surprising research on vaginal health that most doctors never mention, the simple daily practice that takes just minutes but makes all the difference, how to actually use hormonal changes to your advantage, the connection between overall fitness and intimate satisfaction, mental techniques that dramatically enhance physical response, products specifically designed for postmenopausal comfort that actually work, and the fascinating way that regular intimacy creates a positive feedback loop for hormonal balance. By the end of our time together, you'll have a complete understanding of not just what to do, but why it works and how to implement it in a way that feels right for you. And I've created a free guide that summarizes everything we'll cover today, which you can download using the link in the description. The research most doctors don't share. Let's start with what's actually happening in your body during and after menopause that affects intimacy. Now, you probably know that estrogen levels decrease, which can lead to vaginal dryness and thinning of tissues. But here's what most doctors don't explain. The vaginal tissue is incredibly responsive to regular stimulation, regardless of hormone levels. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found something remarkable. Postmenopausal women who engaged in regular intimate activity had significantly healthier vaginal tissues than those who didn't, even when their hormone levels were identical. Think about that for a moment. 2 women with exactly the same hormone profile can have completely different experiences based on one simple factor: regular engagement with these tissues. Here's why this matters. Your body operates on a use it or lose it principle. When tissues aren't regularly engaged, blood flow decreases, nerve endings become less sensitive, and the natural lubrication process becomes less efficient. But the opposite is also true. When these tissues are regularly stimulated, blood flow increases, nerve sensitivity is maintained, or even enhanced, and the body's natural lubrication mechanisms, while different from pre-menopause, continue to function. Dr. Lauren Stryker, a leading menopause specialist at Northwestern University, puts it this way: the single most important factor in maintaining vaginal health after menopause is regular stimulation of the tissue, which promotes blood flow and maintains elasticity. This isn't just theory. A long-term study following women through menopause found that those who maintained regular intimate activity at least twice weekly were 3 times more likely to report satisfying experiences compared to those who were intimate than once a month. So what exactly is this practice that makes such a difference? It's actually quite simple, but the way you implement it matters tremendously. The practice is regular, intentional engagement with your vaginal tissues, both through self-stimulation and partner intimacy. But before you think, that's it? Let me explain why the specifics matter so much. First, consistency is key. The research shows that sporadic activity doesn't provide the same benefits as regular engagement. The ideal frequency appears to be at least 3 to 4 times per week, which maintains tissue health and responsiveness. Second, the approach matters. After menopause, many women need to adjust their approach to stimulation. The tissues require more time to become fully engaged, and the type of touch that works best often changes. Here's a simple daily routine that research participants found most effective. 1. Begin with a warm bath or shower to increase overall circulation. 2. Use a high-quality lubricant specifically designed for post-menopausal women. 3. Start with gentle external stimulation for at least 5 to 10 minutes before any internal engagement. 4. Focus on slow, consistent stimulation rather than intense or rapid movements. 5. Maintain the engagement for at least 15 to 20 minutes. This might sound clinical, but women who adopted this approach reported something fascinating. After just 3 to 4 weeks, they began experiencing sensations they hadn't felt in years. The tissues became more responsive, natural lubrication improved, and the quality of sensation deepened. Dr. Cheryl Kingsburg, a psychologist specializing in sexual health, explains, "The vaginal tissue is remarkably responsive to regular stimulation. When women commit to regular engagement, we see measurable improvements in tissue health, lubrication, and pleasure response, regardless of age or how long it's been since menopause." Leveraging hormonal changes. Now, here's something truly fascinating that's rarely discussed. The hormonal changes of menopause can actually enhance intimate experiences when approached correctly. Before menopause, desire and arousal are heavily influenced by cyclical hormones. This creates a predictable pattern that many women describe as peaks and valleys throughout the month. After menopause, this cyclical pattern disappears. While this presents challenges, it also creates an opportunity. Without the hormonal fluctuations, your response becomes more consistent and more directly connected to stimulation and psychological factors. Dr. Rosemary Basson, a leading researcher in female sexuality, has developed a model that explains why this matters. She found that postmenopausal women often experience a shift from spontaneous desire to responsive desire. This means that while you might not randomly feel desire the way you once did, your body remains fully capable of responding to appropriate stimulation. Here's how to leverage this change. 1. Recognize that arousal often precedes desire after menopause, rather than following it. 2. Create intentional opportunities for intimate connection, rather than waiting for spontaneous desire. 3. Focus on sensual pleasure throughout your body, not just genital response. 4. Use mindfulness techniques to stay present with physical sensations. 5. Experiment with different types of stimulation to discover what works best now. Women who understand and work with this shift report something remarkable. Their intimate experiences become more consistent, more connected, and often more satisfying than in their premenopausal years. As one research participant put it, "I spent months mourning what I thought I'd lost, only to discover that what I gained was actually better. I'm more present, more connected to my body, and more consistently satisfied than I ever was before." There's another crucial factor that research has identified: the connection between overall physical fitness and intimate satisfaction after menopause. A comprehensive study published in the Journal of Health and Aging found that postmenopausal women who engaged in regular moderate exercise reported 60% higher satisfaction with their intimate lives compared to sedentary women. This connection works through multiple pathways. First, exercise improves cardiovascular health, which directly enhances blood flow to the genital tissues. This increased blood flow is essential for arousal, lubrication, and tissue health. Second, regular movement maintains pelvic floor strength and flexibility. The pelvic floor muscles play a crucial role in arousal and orgasmic response. When these muscles are weak or tight, sensation is diminished. Third, exercise regulates hormones that affect mood, energy, and desire. While it doesn't replace the estrogen lost during menopause, it helps optimize the hormones your body still produces. The good news is that you don't need an intense exercise regimen to see benefits. The research shows that the most effective approach includes 1. 30 minutes of moderate cardiovascular activity at least 3 times weekly. 2. Simple strength training exercises twice weekly. 3. Regular stretching to maintain flexibility. 4. Specific pelvic floor exercises, beyond just Kegels. Let me share a simple pelvic floor exercise that research participants found particularly effective. Sit comfortably on a firm surface. Imagine your pelvic floor as an elevator. Slowly contract the muscles as if the elevator is rising to the first floor, then the second, then the third. Hold briefly at the top floor, then slowly release, floor by floor. Repeat 10 times, twice daily. Women who added this simple exercise to their routine reported significant improvements in sensation and response within just 4 to 6 weeks. Now let's talk about something that research shows is equally important: the mental aspects of intimate satisfaction after menopause. Dr. Lori Brado, a psychologist specializing in sexual health, has conducted fascinating research showing that mindfulness techniques can dramatically improve intimate experiences for postmenopausal women. In one study, women who practiced specific mindfulness exercises for just 10 minutes daily reported a 30% increase in arousal and a 25% increase in satisfaction without any physical interventions. Here's why this works. After menopause, the mind-body connection becomes even more important for intimate satisfaction. When you're fully present and mentally engaged, your body responds more readily even with lower hormone levels. Here are the specific mental techniques that research participants found most effective. 1. Body scan meditation. Spending 5 minutes daily focusing attention on each part of your body, noticing sensations without judgment. 2. Sensate focus exercises. Exploring touch with curiosity rather than goal. Orientation. 3. Guided imagery. Visualizing positive, intimate experiences in detail. 4. Mindful breathing during intimate activities. One participant described her experience this way: "I used to get distracted by worrying about whether I would respond enough or fast enough. Learning to stay present with whatever sensations I was experiencing completely transformed my experience. I stopped chasing what used to happen and started appreciating what was happening now." This mental shift, from comparing your premenopausal experiences to discovering and appreciating your current capacity for pleasure, emerged as one of the most significant factors in postmenopausal satisfaction. Let's talk about products. The market is flooded with options claiming to restore youthful, intimate experiences, but research shows that most fall short. However, there are specific products that consistently make a meaningful difference. First, let's address lubricants. Not all lubricants are created equal, especially for postmenopausal women. Research from the North American Menopause Society found that lubricants with these characteristics work best. 1. pH balance to match vaginal tissues, around 3.8–4.5. 2. Osmolality, similar to natural vaginal secretions. 3. Free from glycerin, parabens, and flavoring agents. 4. Longer-lasting formulations, specifically designed for postmenopausal women. The study found that women who used pH-balanced lubricants reported 40% less discomfort compared to those using standard lubricants. Beyond lubricants, there are several other evidence-based products worth considering. Vaginal moisturizers, different from lubricants, used 2 to 3 times weekly to maintain tissue health. Low-dose vaginal estrogen products, which work locally with minimal systemic absorption. Pelvic floor tools designed specifically for postmenopausal women. Vibrating devices, which research shows can increase blood flow and tissue responsiveness. What's most important is finding products that work with your body's current needs rather than trying to recreate premenopausal experiences. As one research participant noted, "Once I stopped trying to make my body respond like it did at 35 and started working with how it responds now at 62, everything improved." Finally, let's discuss one of the most fascinating findings from recent research: the positive feedback loop that regular intimacy creates for hormonal balance after menopause. A longitudinal study published in the Journal of Endocrinology found something remarkable. Postmenopausal women who engaged in regular intimate activity, at least twice weekly, showed measurably higher levels of natural testosterone and DHEA compared to those who were intimate less than once a month. This creates a virtuous cycle. Regular intimacy improves hormone levels, which enhances desire and response, which makes intimacy more satisfying, which encourages more frequent intimacy. Dr. Jennifer Berman, a urologist specializing in female sexual health, explains, "Regular sexual activity actually signals the body to maintain the systems that support sexual function. It's as if the body says, 'This system is still being used, so let's keep it working well.'" This feedback loop affects several aspects of intimate health. 1. Natural lubrication improves with regular engagement. 2. Tissue elasticity and resilience increase. 3. Nerve sensitivity is maintained or enhanced. 4. Blood flow patterns become more efficient. 5. Hormone receptors become more responsive. The key insight is that regular intimate activity isn't just enjoyable in the moment, it actually helps maintain your body's capacity for future enjoyment. As one participant put it, "It's like I'm investing in my intimate future every time we connect." We've covered a lot of ground today, from the research on vaginal health to specific daily practices, from fitness connections to mental techniques, from effective products to the fascinating hormonal feedback loop. The most important takeaway is this: your capacity for intimate satisfaction doesn't end with menopause. For many women, it enters a new and potentially more fulfilling phase, but it requires a different approach than before. The simple daily practice we've discussed, regular, intentional engagement with your vaginal tissues, is the foundation. When combined with the other elements we've covered, it creates a comprehensive approach that research shows makes women 3 times more likely to report deeply satisfying intimacy after menopause. If you found this information valuable, please consider subscribing to my channel for more evidence-based content on thriving in your post-menopausal years. And if you know someone who might benefit from this information, please share this video with them. Remember, this isn't about trying to recapture your past. It's about discovering the unique pleasures and connections available to you now. As one of my favorite research participants said, "I wouldn't go back to my 30s if you paid me. What I have now is deeper, more connected, and honestly more satisfying than anything I experienced before." Thank you for joining me today. Here's to your continued health, pleasure, and intimate connection for decades to come.